Right, so now we're back in the car, and then to pull off in the Panamera is foot on the brake, and there's a little button under here. You've got to lift that button, that one there, and then you can pull it back into drive, and then it shows you up on the screen. You've got drive, neutral, reverse, and manual. Manual is by pushing the lever over. So if I show you this, over there, and then it's up, and then down. Okay, it's plus. Change up a gear, and then push it to change down the gear. And there's a little park button on there as well, so you can push the park button and that push you into electronic park, and then you've got another one there for the main brake. So again, with these, they won't let you pull off without releasing park if you haven't got your seatbelt on. So you've got our seatbelt on and ready. Within here, you've got the glove box. Show you a little bit inside there. There's not a lot really. There's no charging in there other than you've got a USB in your jack, and you've got a 12-volt socket in there, and then 2 cup holders, and a little bit of storage here, another 12-volt there, smoker pack, and other buttons on here which aren't necessarily buttons, but they give the haptic feedback. So you can push that for your seat. You've got 3 settings on the seat, and same with them. If you want to put your front screen on, up the fan comes, turn it off, and it goes back into automatic. So that's your auto button if you want to do your air con. And then on these ones, you've got your hazard just by here. And then push that for your hazard lights, so your outside indicators. The volume for your radio or your entertainment is up and down there on that scroll. And then this one then puts you through the menus, and you can zoom in, zoom out. If you put it into media, it moves around the screen instead of you having to push it. If you want to play, press play, and then so on from there. So let's just drive off. We're in there, press into drive, engine fires back up. Off we go. So it's a nice easy one this. It's got the paddles on the back of the steering wheel. I don't tend to use them in this car. In other cars I do, but this one I think the automatic is so good. If you put it into the different sport modes, they work well enough without that. Look down outside just as we're driving along. Put the sat nav on. There's a button on there. We've just got some of the quick menu buttons here. So if you want to go on the phone, there's a phone button there. Media, same thing. I find they work pretty good. Car takes you into your modes again. Turn the wheel, goes into sport, or I can just push it on there, and it'll put us into sport plus without turning that wheel. There's also a little button inside here. That button gives you an additional boost for 20 seconds. You don't have to use it. If you push it and then turn it off, then it'll just go back off. But so I just noticed that. Oh, okay, that's interesting. If you push the button, it actually raises the spoiler on the back of the car. I didn't notice that before, but then I don't really push the button, you don't need to. So we're currently in sport mode. As you can hear it and see it's not quick enough. It's a really nice car to drive. So in sport mode it's quite smooth, the suspension, and it lowers the car whenever you go through the different modes. So if I go back to normal, it raises the car to the highest point. It did stop there, and I took my foot off the brake, and then it fires it back up. What's wrong with that? Okay, just a one-touch 3 indicate. You can play with settings in the car. So as I turn that, if you look at the back of the car, as I push the button, the response button, so it brings the spoiler up. Additional 20 seconds, and then you can feel it up, and then turn it back off and it goes away again. And that was in normal mode, so I didn't have any particular sport mode. You can also raise and lower the car. So currently we're raised at the top. If you want to lower it, you can push for the sport suspension, and it lowers the car. So currently now we're in the lowest mode, but we're just driving it normal. So if you like to see the car nice and low, you can do that with that button without having to change the sports mode and the fuel economy and everything else. But alternatively, you can just do it on the wheel. But one thing to note, if you do that manually and then you put it into sport and sport plus and then back to normal,